Former opinion editor at the Wall Street Journal, Melanie Kirkpatrick, has a new book out just in time for the holidays, titled Thanksgiving, the Holiday at the Heart of the American Experience.
Kirkpatrick details 400 years of American history, drawing on newspaper accounts, private correspondence, historical documents, and cookbooks to paint a full history of the Thanksgiving holiday and its timeless significance. Melanie joins us now to expand. Welcome to Rising, Melanie.
It's great to be with you. Good morning.
So tell us exactly how you've been studying the holiday of Thanksgiving for all of these years throughout time. Tell us what has changed. What have we kept? Are we still celebrating Thanksgiving the way that it was intended?
Oh, there's so many threads in the history of Thanksgiving, and it's constantly changing. But the original Thanksgivings were religious holidays, and they were called to give thanks to God for specific blessings, such as a good harvest or rainfall, something like that. But as the holiday evolved, it's turned into a holiday where we still give thanks, and people who are religious, of course, give thanks to God. But it is also a holiday that goes around family, feasting, and another F, football. So, it, as I say, has evolved over the centuries. The menu, though, is probably the most stable aspect of the holiday. One of the first pilgrim accounts of that first Thanksgiving 400 years ago mentions wild turkeys. So it's possible that they ate turkey. But we also know that they ate venison, which the Native Americans contributed. And today we continue to eat those traditional American foods. So there's some similarities.
Obviously, the challenge of celebrating Thanksgiving this year and to a much greater extent last year was the pandemic. Is there anything in your research about how Americans endured through fear of disease, of illness, to celebrate Thanksgiving in the past?
Well, certainly the first Thanksgiving 400 years ago, there were 52 pilgrims in attendance, and half of the original pilgrim group that had arrived in the New World had died. And that was of disease and cold and lack of food. But the disease that killed many of them was supposedly a form of the flu, a virulent form. So certainly that first Thanksgiving 400 years ago started on in part, they were giving thanks for those who had survived.
So how has the kind of multicultural utopian mythologizing around the holiday evolved over the years? Because I'm curious, in the let's say 19th century, when the U.S. is kind of expanding west and at constant war with American Indians, how did they reconcile that with this annual holiday celebrating or mythologizing cooperation and peace?
I think there are a couple of ways to respond to your question. In the book, I interview Native American leaders today and their attitudes toward Thanksgiving. And most of those I interviewed said that they felt, as Americans, they celebrate the holiday and love the holiday. They're also members, of course, of their specific Native American tribe. And they use the holiday as a way to remember and honor the memory of their ancestors. And I think that's something that every American could do on Thanksgiving Day, is spare a moment to give a thought to the Native Americans who died during that period of our history. But in terms of the multicultural nature of the holiday, the 19th century was also a time of great immigration to America. And immigrants then, as today, consider Thanksgiving usually as a first step to becoming real Americans. It's a way of being accepted and into the American community. There's a wonderful drawing by Thomas Nast in the 19th century that appeared in Harper's, I think. And it's called Uncle Sam's Thanksgiving. And it's a sketch of a Thanksgiving table presided over by Uncle Sam. But around the table are people of many different nationalities and races. And the idea is that everybody is welcome at the Thanksgiving table, regardless of race, religion, or ethnic background.
Was that an inspiration for you to write this book? You know, the kind of a certain contingent of progressive activists, et cetera, are engaged in this very deliberate project right now of trying to recontextualize or reconvey American history, and I think make it the aspects of it that have been painted with a kind of rosy lens to diminish that somewhat. Are you trying to reclaim Thanksgiving in some sense?
That's an interesting question. I set out to write the book in the aftermath of September 11th when I was in downtown Manhattan and watched the towers fall. And like a lot of Americans who were in New York City and actually anywhere in America that day, I began to think about what it meant to be an American. And as part of that process, I read of Plymouth Plantation, which is the governor of Plymouth's account of the years there. And it made me realize that a lot of the stuff that we were struggling with in the aftermath of September 11th was stuff that, the first Americans had to deal with too. So, in that sense, I was. As for the progressive attack on Thanksgiving, I don't think anybody is going to succeed in canceling Thanksgiving. Americans like it too much, and Americans, I think, connect with it too much. So
I don't think
that effort is doomed to failure.
I don't think anybody's even tried. I think even the vanguard of the cancel culture flank is not even interested in assaulting that particular castle.
Yeah.
Oh,
we love our food.
I'd like to think you're right, but I'm not sure you are. Last Thanksgiving, there were riots in several cities in which they toppled down statues or wrote on statues, anti-Thanksgiving slogans. So we'll see.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, Melanie,
the vanguard is on it.
Yeah. I have to ask you the most controversial question, I think, or make the most controversial statement I think I've ever made on this show before you go. And that is that yams are my favorite Thanksgiving dish. And I need to know if yams have always been on the Thanksgiving table or did they just recently arrive? This is a big controversy in my family.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Kim, but I don't think yams had arrived in New England in 1621. So, but I'm sure they got there soon afterwards. So you could adopt them and think that you are being true to American heritage.
Oh.
They're the best. They're the best.
Well, the book is Thanksgiving, the holiday at the heart of the American experience. And Melanie, we're so grateful to you for being with us to discuss it. Thank you. We'll have more Rising right after this.